Right, hello. You joined me back quite unbelievably on the layout, which is supposed to not be here anymore, because we were supposed to have moved house, but the man who we were buying the house from very thoughtlessly decided to die while that was mid going through. So it's all gone a bit belly up at the moment, but you know, these things happen. Sadder for him than it is for us, definitely. So we're back. I've set up a little temporary oval here, not the main layout. You can just kind of see if I pattern up, the layout is still sort of filthy as usual, but yes, we have the layout ready to go. And what I wanted to talk about, I've got a new little review. So you might recall some time ago I brought the Accurascale ZDV, their exclusive mineral wagon, for a grand total of £25. I've gone up now. I've brought a new wagon from a new manufacturer for even more money. So we have this Rapido Trains gunpowder van, which I believe is from their range of what they refer to as Not-Quite-Minks. I'm doing sort of Not-Quite-Minks, where it uses a GWR mink tooling to make sort of a generic-y kind of box van, I guess. So this one is Great Northern Railway gunpowder van. Those are the salient points on the end, and I got this from Tony's Trains in Rugby in Hill Morton for £28, I think it was. The retail price of this, £32.95. Quite a bit of money. Is it worth it? I mean, it's bigger. That amount of money is more than the mineral wagon, which is a lot of a bigger wagon. I think it might be sort of the most amount of money I've spent on a bit of rolling stock, bar sort of a coach. So I thought we'll open it up and have a little look and see what it's like. Quite like the packaging. It's sort of it follows really the industry standard, the packaging of just sort of a window box with a sort of a blister inside. I did notice on here, sort of, it's got this designed in the UK, but I think most double O gauge ready to run stuff is designed in the UK. So I think that's really an excuse to get the sort of Union Jack on there. As you can see here, it is made in China. Bit of information about signing up to their newsletter. Yeah, iron-bodied goods van, their address and the SKU number. So yeah, here we go. We've got a little leaflet, which is sort of a bit like the off-boating and maintenance instruction leaflet for a locomotive, but it is a lot simpler. It just gives a bit about if you do have any warranty issues and what this is. Thanks to Kenny Falstead and Gareth Price. So I always like thanking the people that help manufacturers. So thank you, well done. And some of the other Not-Quite-Minks in the range. There's the one I've got, the Great Northern one. There's also this nice G-Forks one. I quite like this blue circle one as well. But I just thought, yeah, instant show. The G-Forks one I think is maybe the nicer one, but that was out of stock pretty much immediately. But this is the sort of the second most colourful, and I got this. Now, I did... Oh my god, its box has popped open. I did review a sort of straight out of the box first impressions of this, and I rambled on at great length about how I thought it was missing brake rigging on this side, because you can see there isn't any, and turn it over on this side you can see there's much more normal, but I had a look online. It doesn't seem to actually have brake rigging on one side. None of them seem to, so that video kind of divulged into a rant about how I was disappointed and things like that, so scrap that, because I was just wrong. So let's review this again. So the first thing you notice is the wheels, very nice, got sort of a white rim on them, and very fine flanges on that as well. Nice colourful livery, Great Northern gunpowder van. And again, it's in sort of the industry standard clamshell packaging. Let's move this out of the way and throw the wagon into the way. Here we are. So yes, very nice, perfectly legible writing on things like these notices. Look, to be returned to King's Cross. This one is legible as well, but is a lot smaller. I won't pick that out with my eyes. It's got sort of a vent and nice detailing on each end. You can see sort of all the rivets on there, and again all the riveting all over the roof that you can see along my finger here at the back, and sort of the nice curved corners as well. I think that looks really nice. We've got the standard NEM couplings in NEM pockets, so they're a slight bit of flexing. I believe these are the slightly shorter NEM couplings and NEM pockets you can see on there. Then I think there are sort of two sizes. Now you can see these gaps here, which is where the brake rigging on this side is glued into. So whether or not it'd be prototypical that there'd be a gap there on the wagon, I'm not too sure. And some nice underframe detail. Now these are wagons that get a lot of plaudits for their detail, especially underframe detail, and I think Rapido get a lot of props for the underframe detail, which is very good. But I think really on this, I mean, a lot of that is moulded detail under there. Certainly all this seems moulded. I really don't know. This is a very small van. I mean, this is a small old Hornby open wagon, and it's sort of a similar dimension to that. I don't know, for 30 odd pounds, £32 RRP, this does just seem like quite a lot. If I just, for now, move this forward by hand, so I can get some of the other box vans I've got in this train in frame, move it on here. This is a ratio kit. This is a Hornby Railroad one. I mean, you can see it's quite a bit shorter than the ratio kit, and the Hornby Railroad van, which is around, or was when it was last in the range, around half the price, I seem to remember. Obviously, the underframe detail isn't even a close match. There is more on the Rapido van here than the none at all that's on there. But really, from the side and from a distance, I'm not too sure what way you'd call this. I mean, obviously, you're paying more because this is a accurate diagram tooling. But then for this wagon, it's not in an accurate livery for this diagram and tooling. So I think, I don't know, it's a hard thing to explain. It just seems like quite a bit. But let's just pop it in this train and see how it runs. Something that you might not be able to see that well from this angle here is that it's quite a bit shorter than these other box vans that are around it as well. But let's pop this in. Only temporarily set this layout out, so we are on the fairly lackluster Hornby R7229 controller, so the loco is not going to run very nicely, but let's just sort of get it running and see if it does roll. It's got mixed couplings. That's similarly narrow, but is a kit build. This is the large D coupling, so... Oh, listen to that. Do love the 7229 controller. I simply really couldn't be bothered to get the HM2000 out and set that up. You can really see the size difference here in this sort of passing shot. Look at there as well as it goes around the back of the layout. A lot smaller than the box vans on the other side. Let's wait and capture it as it comes along this way and pan along with it. I'm going to have to... I do apologise for that jump cut. I don't never like doing them, but the gimbal really freaked out. I'm sort of getting to grips with learning how this works properly, but it should make the videos better overall. What would of course make the videos better than this is filming them when there's decent lighting, which there definitely isn't at the moment, so you might have to take my word for it of some of the finer details. But yeah, a small wagon, really not too sure about the pricing here. It does seem like you pay a lot of money for perhaps not that much wagon. I'll really maybe leave it up to you and see what you think, but I'm not sure how I don't know, just compared to some of the other vans here, considering that second-hand at sort of a second-hand shop, the local model shop, the entire rest of the train probably cost around the same as that van. Don't know, tricky one to call. I like that van. I think it's nice. I think it's colourful. I think the detail on it is nice, and certainly up close it does hold up more scrutiny than the rest of them, and maybe if you've got one of the ones that's in an accurate livery, it's worth that much more money to you. But I think, unlike the Accurascale mineral wagon, which I was expecting to think was too expensive and actually quite liked, I think this is a bit too expensive for me. But I wanted to see what one was like. It probably won't put me off buying any Rapido things in the future, but that's just my 2 cents. A lot of people seem to like the Accurascale review, so here's one of another brand, first Rapido thing I've owned. A little bit pricey, but well, you pay your money and you make your choice, don't you? So let's capture this once more, I think, coming past, and then we'll call it that for time for now.